Hey there, River here. We are doing something different for this solar eclipse reading, and the solar eclipse, Aries at 29 degrees and 52 minutes, is happening on the 20th of April 2023. But before we dive into the reading, some disclaimers. I am not a doctor, lawyer, therapist. I'm a fortune teller. So what I offer is no substitute for their services. Furthermore, what I share doesn't determine your future. Only your intentions and actions do. So please use your gifts of discernment before deciding what to gather and take away. And of course, take only what resonates and blow like a kiss the rest back to the universe for cosmic composting into beauty. This reading is intended for fun and games, for shits and giggles, for entertainment, for flexing our heart, mind, body, spirit, soul, emotions, and intuition. And at the least, I hope to cause harm to none, and at the most, I hope I may assist you on your healing path. Yeah, so we're trying something new for this solar eclipse reading, and thank you all so much for being here. We have new subscribers. That's super exciting, and more views, and that's super exciting to be here with you and helping each other along the healing path, especially orphans and adoptees. So thank you so much for helping breathe life into adoption spirit magic, and for considering for yourself what adoption spirit magic may mean to you by thinking about how to express Romans 8:15 in your culture. And that scripture goes something like this: we have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear. We have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, thanks God for helping us all. So that is a paraphrase of Romans 8:15, but how might you express that in your culture? And that's what I am sensing is adoption spirit magic. And so I'm curious what you think, how you interpret it. And so you can consider that and share in the comments, and or not. And that's fabulous too, because free will is real, and we want to honor that, especially here on this channel and station. And so thank you again for being here. And it's an exciting time. We are in an exciting time. We chose to come in this planet at an exciting time, and with the dismantling and the rebuilding. And so, even more thank yous and hugs for helping create this shift into a new way of living and a new way of life, where we adopt success for everybody and we transmute these violent cycles into love. That is super exciting. So, this reading, it's about the solar eclipse. And some of you may have been feeling it coming for the past couple weeks. And I may be saying this incorrectly, so quadruple check me, right? Nobody's perfect. Life's for learning to tolerate, starting with self. And we're careful of the tricky flip side of that card. Chill, never learn, off with the head. But this particular solar eclipse that's happening on the 20th of April 2023 is in Aries at 29 degrees and 52 minutes. And an hour later, well, when that happens, the sun and the moon are conjunct, I'm learning. And then an hour later, the moon goes into Taurus. That's 1 hour later that the moon goes into Taurus. And then 4 hours later, the sun goes into Taurus. And then the sun and the moon square Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So all of that is happening on the 20th. And then there's even more happening on the 21st. Those of you in the know, you know. Mercury is going retrograde in Taurus at 15 degrees. And the rest of us are learning more and more what that means. And Again, some of you may have been feeling that already, but you may also enjoy checking out other resources to dive even deeper. There's so many amazing astrologists out there, and I'll list one in my description, Molly McCord. She is sharing weekly podcasts about the energies each week, and that is super exciting. And I really appreciate how she lays out the information, and that's super exciting. And so you may enjoy her too, but you can check out 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different sites to see what you find out about the solar eclipse this year and how that energy is playing out for the next couple years, not just for the next couple of months, and the new moon that it's on. It's on a new moon, all of that. So this reading is a little more in depth than what I said at the beginning, as you can see, because there's so much happening on this one day. And I rolled the number 6, and that is a number of service, and it helps us tell the difference between light and dark, and helps us with the choices we make between the two. And then it also helps defend against forces like those times when people are possessed by grief and lash out psychically at us by either both ends of the spectrum, consciously to unconsciously cursing us, whether they're just talking over food and drinks and saying nasty things about us, or they're actively spell casting. And the number 6 helps protect in these instances, and it helps in one way, helps us maintain our integrity by maintaining our boundaries. So that is something to consider and play with to help us play through our losses. And that number 6 also helps us get out of these repetitive patterns and embrace more joyful ways of living. So that is super exciting, especially with everything that's been happening in the past 3 years. And some would say it's like 3 lifetimes, so as it resonates for you. Pardon me. And what else about that number 6? Well, you can let me know what you found about the number 6 and that numerology. And that number 6 picked the Living Altar, an oracle and spell deck for the Radical Witch by Kiki Robinson and Elvadrama Marzana Radzasuski. And you can find more about the Living Altar. Pardon me. I apologize. Yep, could be the incense catching me a little bit. That happens sometimes. So the Living Altar, you can find it online and procure your own deck, and you may also hang out with Kiki and Ilva on Instagram. At the Opulent Witch is Kiki, and Bimbo Yaga is Ilva, and you may enjoy taking in the Romanistan podcast, the Halloween episode where Jessica Verminsky and Paulina Verminsky, did I say that correctly? Paulina Verminsky and Jessica Reedy invited Kiki and Ilva over to share spooky stories and on the Halloween episodes. And so Kiki and Ilva shared some stories about the making of this deck of cards. So that's super fun. You may enjoy taking that in and seeing more what Romanistan has to offer and what's been happening with them lately, and offer them some lovely support and just understand more what has been happening in our worlds. And there's so much more to say. You go there, you'll understand, you'll see. And thank you so much for witnessing, being a part, participating in these decades of Romani inclusion. This is one of the only Romani decks I know in circulation right now, this one. So I'm super excited to share it with you for this solar eclipse reading. And we have the rose quartz pyramid on top. This is our crystal that may help us through these times. You can Look up rose quartz on your own, see what resonates with you, checking out 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 27 different sites, resources, as it were, to understand more about the metaphysical properties of rose quartz and how it may benefit you on your healing path. And also the pyramid. Like off the top of my head, I'd say transformation and unconditional love. So that's super exciting. So let's see. You are a whole, full, powerful, loving spiritual being. And so am I. And I thank your source, spirit team, angels, galaxy guides, ancestors, saints, sages, gods, goddesses, universes here for the highest love and light. Did I mention your ancestors? And we thank source, your source and my source, for shifting the situation into what it needs to be, offering necessary insights, healings, acts of grace, protection. And so it was, and so it was, and so it was, so it was, so it was. Heartily, we are grateful. Thank you for making this reading abundantly clear what may help us move through this eclipse, everything that's happening on that day, that new moon, that solar eclipse, the sun and the moon moving into Taurus, the square to Pluto in Aquarius. Thank you for making it abundantly clear how we may move forward, minding our business in the highest love and light. Heartily, we are grateful. Childhood. Oh, that's super sweet. Letting you see that for a minute, letting you vibe on that. So much about our childhoods, right? And how to honor that. Oops, sorry. So this has 3 parts, so I invite you to settle in, and you can come back at any point to revisit and help integrate this experience for your solar eclipse. As I said, it's going to play out not just over the next couple months, but the next couple of years. And so that's something to help pace us, like our master's program. Interesting. All right, so there's the Witch's Wheel correspondence, there's the spell, and there's the guiding messages. And so you may find yourself diving deeper into Witch's Wheels and checking out a grip of them and then creating your own if you haven't already. And that may enhance this Witch's Wheel correspondence. The spell you may say multiple times, 4, 5, 6, 7, 27 times to help activate and embody and integrate that for yourself, to help play with it. And the guided messages you may just reflect upon, or you may journal on, and so you can play with all of those. So here we go. The Witch's Wheel correspondence. Air, spring, east, sunrise, promise, first quarter moon, inspiration, creativity, intention, and choice. ideas settle in. Intentions jumping out at me. We're starting something new, aren't we? And what have you been intending? And that means so much. And then that choice, choosing to remain positive, to keep flipping the card when needed, as needed, to remain positive. Not to say you're sweeping the shit under the carpet, not at all, but just honoring that part of the game that, once you know what it is, you get to flip it and let your heart go up about it instead of down about it. And to exercise and flex that muscle and to keep developing that for life worth living, right? I'm thinking of the heart chakra, the anahata chakra, and the star in the center of it, the symbology. If you check out the symbology, if you haven't already, there's a star in the center made of two triangles. One's going up and one's going down. So that's just reminding me to share with you that each thing that comes along, our heart can choose which way to go. And yes, I know sometimes it feels like we don't have a choice because the loss is so much. And so I have to honor that as well in that space. But this is a way to help play with that, is to know that at a point you'll be able to follow your heart one way or the other and make that choice for yourself. And that's super special. That's free will. To be able to choose to how you think about something. I was thinking of Chiron. Chiron in Aries has been coming in and out of this time period we're in, and that's about the wounded healer. And you can look into Chiron more on your own, but how he turned his wound into, well, it ended up turning into something that helped himself and helped many other people. He found a silver lining and an emotional wound, and then there was a physical wound that he also was invited to play through, and he ended up as a constellation in the stars, Sagittarius. But again, check out on your own. You may find some other bits and pieces that speak more to that, at that intention and that choice, and how we can make a situation by how we think of it, and to practice playing a certain way once you've made the choice that, okay, you've seen what you've seen, and now you're going to make the choice to move through it in this different way, where you let your heart go up and have that optimism and that faith that it's always going to work out, even if you can't see the next step, even if you don't know what's around the bend, you're still able to take that leap of faith and make the choice to think positive and move through each situation that way. And if you're not, you know how to remove yourself from the situation and give yourself the nurturing time you need, that time away you need to just self-care and honor what is with you. So the spell. I welcome the initiation of wonderment. In this space, I create safety. In this safety, I access my joy, curiosity, and inspiration. I see through the eyes of my younger self. I rewild the truth of innocence, where every choice is a new adventure. My play and discovery unfold effortlessly and reveal the childlike nature of my dreaming. I harness the magic of my imagination in creating rituals of liberation through radical honesty, free of pretense. I embrace the immediacy of uninhibited trust. That was deep. I was having to read it super carefully. That was really deep. I love that. I think that came up recently in one of the recent readings this month or last month, the childhood. So yeah, having that safe space for ourselves where we can play like a child, that is something to consider as we move through this eclipse. And so what can you do to prepare your space now for the next couple of days, weeks, months, years, to make sure you're able to have that play? Is it that you take yourself out on walks in nature, or you have a coloring book that you'll enjoy going to, or journaling perhaps, or maybe you pull out your old Legos, or you find some other, I'm thinking drums. All the different ways we can play like a child. Don't let me limit you on that, right? There's so many limitless possibilities of how we can play like a child, and so we can lean into that to help us mind our business in the highest love and light as we move through this solar eclipse in the next couple of weeks and months and years, with that energy it's bringing and these new chapters that are beginning, that we get to really enjoy the adventure. How to enjoy the adventure? This is one of the ways we can enjoy the adventure. So, guiding messages: don't take yourself too seriously, don't be too wise. Embrace curiosity, reclaim wonderment, choose a new perspective. Playfulness is virtuous. I love that. Playfulness is virtuous. That is super sweet. So, what a beautiful, beautiful message from Source and from the Living Altar about how to play through this solar eclipse that's coming up on a new moon, and that's happening on the 20th of April 2023. And we get to play through it. Maybe you're going to do some art, maybe you're going to share it here, maybe I don't know, I'd love to hear what you end up doing to help you play through, or what becomes part of your ritual play over the next couple years, or what already has been. All right, that is all I am seeing for you in this reading. Thank you so much for helping breathe life into adoption spirit magic with me. Heartily, we are grateful. Until next time, ciao for now. I love you all.